At this station, you're going to be learning about the arches of the foot. Now, if you look at the foot, all the little bones inside there, you might not recognize a problem immediately. Remember that the foot's made up of the tarsals, the metatarsals, and the phalanges. All these little segments. Now, Roman engineers figured out centuries ago that a segmented structure can only support weight if it's arched. And it's all the Roman architecture with all those arches. So if we're going to support our entire body weight and maneuver us around, we need to have an arch in our foot. Now, arches also provide us a little bit of spring. From the way they're built, when they're compressed, and the weight's released, they spring back. So a springy foot like this is going to help you when you're walking, or especially when you're running. But some of you may not think about it, but walking across uneven surfaces are a lot easier if your foot has an arch and can adjust. It can flex and bend back. A few moments ago, I explained here how that the arches and the entire foot is made up of a bunch of individual little segments. Here you can see all those individual little segments. The tarsals, the metatarsals, and the phalanges. They're all made up of individual little tiny segments. Now, the problem is this. How do you put all these segments together so they support your body weight? In the science lab, we get all these little individual segments together by putting them together with wires. Well, that's not going to happen in the human body. Instead, our ligaments, our segments here are all held together by three distinct ligaments. One ligament runs along the medial side of your foot. Because it runs along the medial side, this is the medial longitudinal ligament. This is the one that's responsible for this big raised instep. Now, just on the other side of it runs a lateral longitudinal ligament. This one produces a small arch on the outside. But if you really watch when you take a footprint, when you step down, this part here of your footprint is missing. People with flat feet, this whole step is laid down. Now, tying all these little bones together is the transverse ligament. So the combination of those three ligaments, the medial longitudinal, the lateral longitudinal, and the transverse, all work together to kind of pull your foot up to produce this arch. That when it's compressed, it goes down and springs back up. Even with these wires, you can try it gently and see that it does go down and comes back up. That adds a little extra bounce to your step when you walk and when you run. Now, people that lack these arches, or the arches get flattened out from repetitive use, hard landings, lots of running with poorly fitting shoes, will produce a flat foot where those arches just get stretched out. And it's not really the arches so much as it is the ligaments. Really, it's really no cause for concern unless it causes pain. And then you'll probably find that the podiatrist will put arches inside the shoes. Now remember, the foot is responsible for supporting your entire body weight all day. And to do this, besides all the support of the ligaments, the bones of the foot are also molded in such a way they interlock really close together. If you look at all these joints here between all the different bones, all the tarsals, how the tarsals all kind of lock together. This along with those ligaments that are going to branch across on the medial side and the lateral side and the transverse ligament are going to work to all lock these bones all together. So if you think about ancient Roman architecture with those columns, with the arches, all the stones fit together perfectly. Well, our foot's built the same way, with all the bones fitting perfectly together.